I hope that everybody is convinced about the importance of measuring financial and social performance of microfinance institutions. This is especially true for the managers of these institutions. In this video, we will focus on the financial sustainability of a microfinance institution. By measuring it, microfinance institutions obtain a better insight into their actual financial and social situation and their position in the market of microfinance. They are able to identify key areas of improvement in order to facilitate decision-making. Last but not least, they generate transparency, increasing credibility and visibility of the institution with all their stakeholders. In order to assess the financial performance of an MFI, we need to take into account the following information: financial figures, trend and benchmarks. Financial figures can be found in the financial statements, being balance sheet and profit and loss statements. We should enrich them also with some additional information on the institution itself and its portfolio quality. The picture at a certain moment in time isn't enough. We need to take into account the information for a number of periods, like the quarter, half-year or year figures. This enables us to evaluate the trend. In order to compare MFIs with their peers, we take into account the benchmarks. At the beginning of this video, I promised to talk about the financial sustainability of an MFI. To do this, we use key performance indicators, or KPIs, that are worldwide agreed upon by all the stakeholders of the microfinance sector. Why KPIs? Let's compare MFIs with cars. You have small cars and big cars. So are MFIs. You have very small or big institutions, some are rural and others are urban. This being said, you cannot draw conclusions on the performance of a car simply by looking at it. The same can be said about an MFI. In order to do so, we must have a look at the engine and make it talk. Today we invited Sabora, a small Bolivian MFI, to our microfinance garage for a checkup of its financial sustainability. During this checkup, we will monitor the three following KPIs: operational self-sufficiency, return on equity, and return on assets. At a first glance, we learn that Sabora is a young cooperative from Bolivia. At the end of 2016, Sabora manages a loan portfolio of $7.4 million and serves 8,151 active borrowers, mostly from the rural areas and a small majority of male clients. This young cooperative recorded a very strong growth of its portfolio between 2014 and 2015. This growing trend was continued over 2016. Let's see then whether together with this fast growth, Sabora could maintain its financial sustainability. We start looking at its operational self-sufficiency indicator. Management, donors and investors want Sabora sustainable so that it can maintain its activities and secure growth in the future. The operational self-sufficiency indicator is the best measure to evaluate the financial sustainability. It indicates whether the MFI's operating revenue can cover its main expenses, being operating expenses, funding expenses and the loan loss provision expenses. The OSS is operating revenue divided by the financial expenses plus loan loss provision expenses and operating expenses. As long as organizations do not reach 100% of the OSS, they are dependent on other resources than their own business activities. And this dependency makes them very vulnerable. Sabora achieved operational self-sufficiency in 2013. However, it is declining since then. Luckily, it doesn't drop below 100%, but management of Sabora should carefully analyze drivers of these indicators. In the next video, we will have a closer look at these drivers. Part of the checkup covering financial sustainability is also looking into the profitability of the institution. Two indicators can put some light on it: return on equity and return on assets. The return on equity and return on assets calculations are the same for both MFIs and the traditional banking sector. This enables an easy comparison of investment returns of different financial institutions. Let's start first with the return on equity. We calculate it by dividing net income after taxes and excluding any grants or donations by the average equity for the given period. Since Sabora is a not-for-profit organization who does not distribute profit, its ROE of 8.8% will be used to increase its equity. This indicator is very much influenced by the funding structure of an MFI. Today, borrowings and savings represent 65% and equity 35% of the funding resources for Sabora. Imagine that this was the other way around. The same profit would result in an ROE of 4.7%. This indicator is mainly monitored by shareholders and equity investors. The return on assets is an indicator that is more appropriate to compare microfinance institutions. As the gross loan portfolio represents the major part of the assets of most MFIs, the ROA provides an indication about how well the MFI uses its main asset to generate revenue. The ROA is influenced by all the components that have an impact on the net income. In the case of Sabora, the decline of its ROA can be explained by the lower income from its gross loan portfolio because they charge lower interest rates and an increase of their liquidity ratio. To understand how an institution achieves its profitability, the analysis has to take into account other indicators. In the next video, we will have a closer look at the operational efficiency and portfolio quality.